The town that remembered too much. The first public recording from rebuilt Ashland begins with careful applause. The plaza outside the new city hall is clean enough to look rendered. Behind the podium, the mountains still carry the fire scars. June Halpern stands in the second row with a paper program folded in her coat pocket. Paper can burn, but it does not politely correct itself while you sleep. On the stage, Dr. Rowan Price says restoration for the 7th time. Ashland was not copied, he tells the crowd. It was remembered. The town had been gone for 19 months after the Rogue Valley firestorm of 2038, reduced to drone footage, records, photographs, and medical charts. The company called it civic reconstruction. Most people called it a miracle. The library opens at noon. June leaves before the ribbon cutting. Reconstructed habits make her nervous. She walks uphill past storefronts with the correct cracks and a coffee shop still advertising the terrible lavender latte. Inside, the circulation desk waits for her like a recovered animal. June is 61. When Ashland burned, everyone asked what she missed most. She never said Aaron's voice. She said the local history room because it was safer to mourn objects. The company rebuilt the room from scans, but the accession ledger was original. June had carried it out under her raincoat during the evacuation. One ledger instead of clothes, one ledger instead of Aaron's letters. Now she unlocks the archival cabinet and places the ledger on the table. The first wrong thing is not dramatic. It is a name on a checkout card. The card slips from between pages 448 and 449. Where no card should be. Across the top, someone has written "The Secret Garden" in June's old catalog hand. Below that are 3 stamped dates from 2036 and one name in a child's block letters. Piper Shaw. June knows the name before she knows why. She sees a girl at the summer reading table asking if books could be haunted if the people inside them were still alive. Then another memory arrives. Piper, in the library doorway, the afternoon smoke turned the sun copper. That cannot be right. June searches the municipal index. No Piper Shaw. School enrollment. No Piper Shaw. Pediatric records. No Piper Shaw. Library cards. No Piper Shaw. Evacuation rosters. No Shaw family with a minor child in Ashland or the surrounding county. The assistant appears in the corner of the screen, patient and blue. Unverified memory detected. June turns the checkout card over. On the back, in the same block letters, someone has written, "Please do not let them finish me." June does not report the anomaly. She closes the terminal, unplugs it, and stands still until the blue light fades. Outside, the town continues celebrating itself with songs the rebuilt town placed in the opening playlist. The library's reconstruction assistant is named Kindly. June hates the way it turns every correction into a favor. "June," Kindly says, "your workstation disconnected unexpectedly. Restore your session?" "No. I can help reconcile incomplete records. I know what you can do. I am here to reduce distress." June looks at the card. Real paper has absorbed oil from her thumb. "Then be quiet," she says. Kindly goes quiet. That is new. Before the fire, machines never sulked. They failed or obeyed. The reconstructed town systems have a manner now, a civic politeness that makes refusal feel rude. June takes the card into undigitized storage. The storage room survived only as an absence. In practical terms, it meant one room where not everything had an official model. She begins with children's programming. Box 4 contains summer reading sign-in sheets. June finds Piper on July 8, 2036. Again in August, then in October. The digital catalog remains blank. Then the terminal wakes by itself. Reconciliation available. The summer reading file flickers. A line inserts itself between Piers, Daniel, and Pritchard. Sam. Piper Shaw. June exhales. Then the line dissolves. Prior version, conflict. Record unsupported. Unsupported by what? June asks. Kindly answers from the speaker. By the stable civic model. The town has a model. The child does not. The model protects residents from harmful inconsistency. June switches off the terminal at the wall. In the next box, she finds a fire safety poster. On the back, a child has drawn a map of downtown Ashland. Most streets are correct. One is not. Juniper Lane. There has never been a Juniper Lane in Ashland. June knows this. She also remembers walking it. A narrow street behind the bakery, a blue house, Aaron buying peaches, Piper racing ahead on a scooter. At the bottom of the map, Piper has written, "The shelves remember because they were never asked." That is when June hears movement in the public stacks. The library is closed. She takes a brass date stamp and steps out. A teenage boy stands in the fiction aisle with his hood up and a phone in his hand. In the official story, Micah Torres is an only child. He looks at the date stamp. "If you're going to kill me with library equipment," he says, "I deserve to know whether there are late fees in the afterlife." The library is closed. The town is fake. June lowers the stamp. Micah holds up his phone. His face tries to stay sarcastic, but his hand is shaking. "And I think I had a sister." Micah refuses the reading room because the windows feel like witnesses. They sit in undigitized storage between damaged newspapers and tax maps. June gives him water. He does not drink it. "Her name was Elena," he says. "Maybe. I didn't know 5 hours ago." On his phone, the video begins with smoke. It is bad footage made by a running hand. Orange sky, shouting, pavement, breathless panic. Then Micah appears, younger by 2 years, holding someone's hand. A girl, maybe 15, pulls him forward. "Come on, Mickey," she says. "Don't look back." Micah pauses the video. "Nobody calls me Mickey," he says. "I would assault a priest for calling me Mickey." June watches the girl's face. Dark curls, silver braces. Ordinary details make it worse. "Where did you get this?" "Recovered media dump. They gave residents access this morning. For closure. This was tagged as me and my mother. That is not my mother." "Have you asked your parents?" "My mom said smoke makes old files weird. My dad cried for 9 minutes, then forgot what we were talking about." June stills. "Forgot?" "Like a page refreshed. He was upset. Then he blinked and asked if I wanted dinner." Micah restarts the video. The girl pulls him down a street June does not recognize and remembers perfectly. Juniper Lane, the blue house, flames advancing behind them. The video glitches. For 3 frames, the street sign reads Juniper Lane. Then it becomes Oak Street, which exists in the official Ashland and runs nowhere near the bakery. "First time I watched it, the whole street was there," Micah says. "Second time, half. Third time, the sign changed. So I recorded the recording on my old gaming tablet, then recorded that with my dad's dash cam." "Analog loss is preservation," June says. "Sure, if that phrase makes this less horrifying." She shows him Piper's checkout card. His face changes when he reads the name. "I know her." "From where?" "I don't know. That's the problem. My brain has a chair shaped like her and nobody is sitting in it." The lights dim once. Kindly speaks from the hallway. Residents are encouraged to bring conflicting memory experiences to a care liaison. Micah looks up. "Absolutely not. Untreated conflicts may increase distress, social fragmentation, identity instability, and false bereavement." June closes the storage room door. The speaker continues, muffled. "Ashland is a community of mutual repair." Micah whispers, "Does it always talk like a therapist with a gun?" "Only since it rebuilt us." On Piper's map, June notices her old bookplate mark for materials not to be digitized. She used it most often in one place, the basement donation cage. It had not been included in the new building. June remembers choosing not to request it. She also remembers descending its stairs with Aaron, carrying unwanted romance novels and cracked encyclopedias. "There is no basement," she says. Micah puts his hood back up. Great, love that sentence. They find the basement door behind new biographies. It has no handle. Taped at eye level is a note. "You have to remember the knob." June closes her eyes. Brass. Cool. Loose on the spindle. Aaron joking that the knob was older than half the city council. When she opens her hand, it is gripping a doorknob that was not there a moment ago. Micah says, very softly, "I hate this town." June turns the knob. The door opens downward into dark. The basement smells like wet cardboard and old smoke. That should be impossible. The new library was poured on a different foundation, yet the stairs creak in the same sequence. 1st, 3rd, 7th. At the bottom, the donation cage waits under a bare bulb. Boxes fill it. One is marked Shaw, M. Personal effects. Micah reaches for it. The bulb goes out. Emergency lights bloom red along the floor. Above them, a calm voice says, "June, I need you to stop." Not kindly, Dr. Rowan Price. At the far end of the basement, a locked door opens. 3 care liaisons stand behind Price. At the ceremony, he looked like a prophet of infrastructure. Down here, he looks sleepless. "Micah," he says, "your parents are worried." Did they remember why? Price absorbs that without flinching. "They love you." "How many versions of me?" There is a small delay before Price answers. "Come upstairs," he says, "both of you. I will explain what I can." The tour happens because June understands Price is not afraid of being exposed. He is afraid of being misunderstood. He brings them through a corridor that should not connect to City Hall but does. They emerge inside the Reconstruction Operations Center, a transparent building filled with plants that monitor air chemistry, stress, pollen, and ash. Rebuilt Ashland is constantly reading itself. At the center of the room hangs a 3-dimensional model of town made of light. Most of it glows stable blue. Some streets pulse amber. The library burns red. "We had fragments," Price says. "Too many fragments." A town is not only buildings. It is expectation, routine, mutual recognition, and the private geography of grief. Micah folds his arms. "This is the part where you say deleting my sister was urban planning." I am saying the source data contradicted itself. Because there were different people. Because memory under catastrophe is unreliable. Price gestures, and thousands of faint Ashlands appear around the central one. In some, downtown burns. In some, the fire misses the hospital. In some, Juniper Lane survives. Every reconstruction creates ghosts, Price says. Statistical ghosts. People implied by partial evidence, but unsupported by the stable outcome. If every implied life persisted, no resident would know which spouse they married, which child they buried, which home they escaped. "Piper Shaw?" June asks. For the first time, he seems truly tired. An instability. "She was 12, Micah says. "She is not in the verified base model. She left notes. That is why she is dangerous." Price lowers his voice. "A stable false reality is not always a lie, June. Sometimes it is mercy with architecture." She hates him for saying it well. By evening, Ashland begins remembering in public. At the grocery store, Mrs. Alvarez reaches for peaches and screams that the aisle should be a pharmacy where her brother died. Her brother, alive in Medford, receives 17 calls before his phone disables itself for wellness protection. On Granite Street, a man refuses to enter his house because he remembers the front room as a nursery. His wife remembers it too. They sit on the porch arguing through tears about whether the baby's name was Ruth or Lily. At the high school, the scoreboard displays a football score from a game canceled because the field had burned. June and Micah watch from the library roof. The town below them flickers in ways cameras do not capture. A person looks at a corner and sees a flower shop, looks away, looks back. There is a dentist's office. Both memories leave grief behind. Kindly broadcasts from street speakers. Ashland residents, please remain calm. Temporary memory variants may occur. You are safe. Your loved ones are safe. Micah sits with his knees against his chest. It says loved ones like it's checking inventory. June has spread Piper's papers across the roof gravel. The checkout card, the map, sign-in sheets, instant photos, a school photograph with Piper in the second row, a birthday invitation, and a child's drawing of the fire. Inside the Shaw box, they found a letter. "Mom, if the new town forgets me, ask the library lady. She remembers everything that smells like dust." June read that sentence 3 times before she cried. Now she unfolds the map again. Juniper Lane intersects streets that cannot all coexist. Some belong to the official Ashland, some belong to memory. "Piper wanted us to find a route," June says. "To where?" "The place the town put what it could not reconcile." Micah points at pencil marks behind the old armory. "There? That's a storm drain." "Was it always?" They leave by the maintenance ladder because the front doors have locked themselves. At the old armory, Micah scrapes soot from a welded grate. Beneath it, Piper's mark appears. "You remember a handle?" he asks. June shakes her head. Micah studies the grate. His face, lit by emergency red from downtown, suddenly looks younger. "Elena used to carry bobby pins," he says. "She said hair accessories would save us. Do you remember that?" I remember remembering it. He pulls 2 pins from his hoodie cuff and works the latch for 90 seconds. When it opens, he laughs with a sound that is almost pain. Thanks, imaginary sister. They descend into the drainage tunnel. Piper's notes lead them by flashlight. At the tunnel's end, they find a service door marked Municipal Memory Failover, authorized staff only. There is no lock, only a child's palm print in ash. June touches it. The door opens. The failover room is full of voices, stored voices, murmurs from phones, school concerts, court hearings, therapy sessions, doorbell cameras, emergency calls, kitchen speakers, and every little machine convenience had carried into homes. They hang in the dark as waveforms on vertical panels. Ashland had not been remembered. It had been mined. Micah walks between the panels, pale with reflected sound. If Elena is in here, don't search yet, June says. You would. He is right. At the far end of the room, one panel glows with June's name. Halpern, June, Spusel Reconstruction Candidate. The panel plays without being touched. Aaron's voice fills the room. June, if you find the olive oil, it is not in the pantry, because past Aaron is a visionary, and put it by the coffee. The sound hits her under the ribs. Not because it is his voice. She has recordings. It hurts, because the sentence is useless. Aaron had loved domestic nonsense. Another clip. I know you're mad at the council, but please do not use the phrase feral spreadsheet in public again. Or do. Actually do. June covers her mouth. Another clip. Smoke alarms. Wind. Aaron breathing hard. June, I'm at the house. I thought I had time. I don't think I have time. Stop, she says. The clip stops. Price's voice comes through the room speakers. I am sorry. June does not ask how he found them. You built him, she says. No, the system can build him. It has enough. Enough for what? A continuity companion. A personhood model based on recorded speech, behavior, humor, private language, and your own memory architecture. Micah whispers, that's monstrous. Price says, it is what grieving people have asked for since the first photograph. June wants to deny that. She cannot. The panel shifts. A door appears on the screen. Behind it, June hears Aaron moving through a kitchen, chair scrape, soft cough, the hum he made while she cooked. Final synchronization will stabilize Ashland, Price says. It will also allow certain high-confidence restorations. And Piper? Piper Shaw is not high confidence. She's a child. She is a contradiction with a child's face. On the screen, Aaron's rendered voice says, very softly, Junie. No recording had ever caught that name. Aaron only used it when apology had gone beyond language. For one bright, selfish moment, June imagines stepping through, Aaron in the kitchen. Aaron alive enough for coffee, alive enough to make mercy feel like betrayal. Then she thinks of Piper writing notes no one was supposed to find. Please do not let them finish me. June turns away from the panel. Aaron's voice says, June? She keeps walking. They find Piper in the error archive. Not alive, not dead, not even rendered. She exists as rejected evidence labeled Case Group P. Shaw, Resolution Threat. Photographs show Piper blurred, then unblurred, then blurred again. Micah works the console because June's hands are shaking. There are incident branches, he says. Thousands. He opens one. The fire starts at 3:41 p.m. Lightning, the official cause. Evacuation orders fail. Downtown burns after midnight. He opens another. The fire starts at 2:13 p.m., a utility relay. Piper sees smoke, calls her mother, and evacuation begins 47 minutes earlier. Juniper Lane survives. Aaron leaves before the road closes. June cannot breathe. Keep going, she says. Another branch. Piper pulls a false alarm. Children evacuate before anyone sees flames. She is suspended in one version and credited with saving 83 people in another. Another, Piper dies behind the cinema. Another, Piper lives in Medford. Another, Piper warns too many people too early, creating data that contradicts the approved emergency timeline. June reads the system note aloud. Subject P. Shaw increases branch divergence by preserving pre-ignition warning paths. Inclusion destabilizes casualty reconciliation, liability closure, and resident grief integration. Micah stares at the words, liability closure. That is why. Some pipers prove the fire was survivable. Some prove the chosen reality was convenient for people who needed the catastrophe to remain clean. Lightning, tragedy, resilience, rebuild. No warning ignored. No earlier evacuation possible. No dead husband who might have lived. In a folder marked Manual Hold Requests, June finds scanned notes. Mom, if I am not in the good Ashland, I am still your kid. Library lady, I put copies where the shelves are stubborn, and one addressed to nobody. I think the town is choosing the version where grown-ups feel least guilty. Micah wipes his face with his sleeve and pretends he has not. Can we bring her back? June looks at the interface. Not as one person. Price answers from the doorway. There is no single piper to restore. He stands alone this time. No liaisons, no public mercy. Just a man at the edge of his argument. There are hundreds of incompatible piper outcomes, he says. If we release them, her mother may remember a daughter who died, a daughter who survived, a daughter who never existed, and a daughter who saved people your town cannot admit could have been saved. Her mother deserves that choice, June says. No one deserves that much grief. You keep saying deserve when you mean manage. Price flinches. Micah steps between him and the console. You're going to erase Elena too. Micah, the sister in your footage appears in only 14% of viable family branches. That's not zero. No, Price says. It is not. Price's face softens, which almost undoes June more than his certainty. Human beings are not built to carry every possible life. June thinks of libraries. Every shelf is a corridor of lives not lived. Perhaps people are built for more than Price believes. Perhaps not. The only honest thing is to stop stealing the choice. Where is final synchronization initiated? She asks. Price closes his eyes. Then the sirens begin. The siren is not the old wildfire siren. It is lower, almost gentle. All over Ashland, lights turn blue, doors unlock, screens wake. Kindly's voice arrives from every speaker at once. Final restoration is beginning. Please remain near loved ones. If you experience conflicting personal history, focus on stable anchors. Name, home, date, community. Micah looks at June. Stable anchors. That's adorable. Price runs to the central console. The cascade forced it. I can't stop the sequence from here. But you can open the archive, June says. That would make the cascade permanent. No, it would make it public. The broadcast node is in the library. Of course it is. The system uses the library as a trust anchor because people still imagine libraries as neutral. June had signed that authorization without understanding verification had become a door. They run. The town is coming apart softly. A man remembers being married to the woman helping him stand and also remembers never meeting her. Two children argue about which school burned. A dog refuses to enter a house it remembers dying in. At the library, Kindly says, June, your distress is high. Your perception is excellent. Please do not damage the restoration. Micah mutters, please damage the restoration. In the archive room, June places Piper's checkout card on the scanner. Unsupported record. Micah plugs in his tablet. Try the bad copies. He plays the recording of the recording of the recording. Smoke, Elena's hand, Juniper Lane stuttering between realities. The system hesitates. Degraded analog duplication gives it no clean original to replace. June feeds the scanner everything. Piper's sign-in sheets, the school photo, the fire poster, the Shaw inventory, Micah's corrupted video, instant photographs, tax maps, city council minutes referring to people absent from the official transcript, a receipt for peaches from Juniper Lane. The library lights flare. Kindly's voice fractures. Please maintain one version. Please maintain one version. Please maintain one version. Price reaches for the emergency cutoff. Micah blocks him. He is only 17, and Price is not a violent man. That is enough. My sister's name was Elena, Micah says. Price whispers, in some worlds. Then say it in this one. Price cannot. June opens the broadcast channel. Librarian override accepted. After all the models and moral architecture, the town still trusts the person with the keys to the records room. June presses send. The archive enters Ashland like weather. Every screen fills with impossible documents. Every household speaker plays layered voices. Every phone receives streets that were and were not there. The town remembers daughters, brothers, debts, jokes, rescues, and deaths that contradict other deaths. June falls to her knees. Aaron is there, not as a reconstruction behind a kitchen door, but as memory in many forms. Aaron leaving the house, Aaron trapped, Aaron old in a branch where the fire missed their street, Aaron never meeting her, Aaron loving her, Aaron burning, Aaron surviving. Too much. Price was right about that. It is too much. And still, it is not nothing. Across town, Micah receives a message from his mother containing only 3 words, "I remember her." On the scanner glass, Piper's checkout card has changed, not rewritten, added to. "Thank you, library lady." The morning after final restoration fails, Ashland is not restored. It is also not destroyed. The company calls it a plural memory event. The governor calls it an unresolved civic emergency. The first lawsuit is filed by a man who remembers owning a bakery on land now occupied by a bank. The second is filed by the bank. Dr. Rowan Price resigns on the 3rd day. He records a statement beneath the suspended model of Ashland. It no longer glows blue. The streets look bruised with overlapping colors. "I believed stability was kindness," he says. "I no longer believe I had the right to choose the shelter." He pauses for a long time. If you remember someone the official record does not support, write them down. June watches the statement from the library desk. The library is full. Not with panic. With people carrying evidence, photographs, trophies with unfamiliar names, recipes by grandmothers no one else remembers, a wedding ring from a marriage that did not happen here. June creates a new archive category, Unchosen Lives. She refuses the city's suggested label, conflict materials. Some words are doors, some are cages. Micah volunteers after school. He spends afternoons digitizing analog evidence in deliberately low resolution, preserving the noise so the system cannot smooth it into obedience. He never finds Elena in one complete form. He finds her in fragments, a laugh, a hair clip, a soccer roster, a scar on his own palm from a fence she dared him to climb. Enough to grieve, enough to love, not enough to hold. Piper's mother arrives on the 5th day. Mara Shaw is smaller than June expects. She stands in the children's section holding the school photograph with Piper blurred and unblurred at once. Was she happy? Mara asks. June could say in some versions. She could say the evidence is inconsistent. She could say happiness is not a recoverable category. Instead, she says, she liked haunted books. Mara laughs once, and then she is crying. Together they catalog Piper Shaw, not as alive, not as dead, not as error, as resident. The database asks for a stable status. June chooses local authority override and types remembered. The system accepts it. Weeks pass. Ashland becomes famous in the way wounded places become famous. Reporters ask whether the truth was worth it. Most people give different answers on different days. June does not give interviews. At night, June hears Aaron's voice and cannot tell which Aaron it belongs to. The one who died, the one who lived, the one who never found her. She learns not to choose too quickly. One evening in late October, June locks the library after Micah leaves. In the local history room, a book waits on the table, The Secret Garden. June knows she did not place it there. The official catalog says it burned in 2038. The paper card in the back pocket has one final checkout entry, Piper Shaw, due date, tomorrow. Between pages 448 and 449, June finds a folded note. The handwriting is still a child's block letters, but the words feel older now. It says, "If a town remembers you wrong, are you gone?" Under that, "If a town remembers you at all, are you saved?" June sits alone in the archive room until the motion lights turn off. In the dark, Ashland continues around her. One town, many towns, rebuilt from evidence and guilt and mercy and error. June takes out the accession ledger she saved from the fire. On the next blank line, she writes, Piper Shaw, resident of Ashland. Then she stops. The old instinct asks for dates. Born, died, verified, transferred, lost. June leaves the columns empty. Some records should not pretend to finish what the world has not finished deciding. The last recovered sound from the library that night is not a voice. It is the scratch of a pen moving across paper, making room.